Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Adventures of TNT. I'm your host T, and today we're going to be sharing Pantera stories. This experience is best enjoyed with headphones, so sit back, relax, come next to the fire, it's warm in here, and let's go ahead and get started.
I saw them back in '97. My friend got his nose broken in the mosh pit. I was lucky and managed not to break anything. He had the biggest grin on his face walking up to me with blood running down his face. I was like, dude, your nose. I took him over to the restroom so he could see it and wash off. We got back and then he ran into another pit. It was a great experience. Fat Freddy Freak. I was lucky enough to see them twice. Last time was Reinventing the Steel tour. It was in Dallas with Soulfly and Morbid Angel. Like you see in the clip, they were pure energy. I actually met Vinny and Dime at an after party following a Rob Zombie concert in Dallas. Two of the most coolest, most humble people in the world. I won't lie, I cried my eyes out when Dime died. The world lost a lot when he was taken from us. RKJE. I saw Pantera when I was in 7th grade. It was an 18 and over show. But I was kind of a drum prodigy as a kid, and I knew the venue manager because I had opened for other bands there. It was wild. I had the best seat in the house, front row of the balcony right next to the stage. Hit a joint and a beer. Thought it was hardcore. That show and Slipknot in '99 changed my life. Daniel DeLeon. Pantera got kicked out city Amarillo, Texas. They rented 24 hotel rooms and knocked out all the walls in between each room and made one big party room. It's fucking awesome. John Vaughn. Seen Pantera 6 times. Met Dimebag once. The most brutal show ever. Broken nose, chipped tooth. Also caught a plastic cup Dime threw in the audience. And it was the show the walk video was filmed. Amazing show. 67 Kuda. In the early 90s, especially in the clubs, some bands can turn the whole experience up to 11, but Pantera turned it up to 30. Nothing you could fully describe. You definitely have to experience and survive.
When my dad was in the Marines, he had a lot of pent-up anger, and he would let it out by going to Pantera concerts and kicking people in the shins with steel-toed boots. Nick Ball. It was '99 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I had to fight my way to the front, having to rip someone off the rail and snake my way into their spot. Unethical? Yeah, I know. But I wasn't going to be denied being up there to see my heroes as close as possible. Crowd surfers were just pouring over us like human waterfalls, and everyone was kicking the fuck out of the back of my head. It felt like whiplash and a concussion after the 20th one. So me and this guy beside me started punching them as they came over, more retaliatory than anything. Keep in mind, my neck felt like it was breaking every time they came over. So Big Val, who you would definitely know if you've ever seen the Vulgar video, I watched that shit like every day. Pantera was religion to me back then. He came up to us and told us to stop punching them. This guy was massive, and I didn't need to be told twice. The guy beside me kept doing it though. After a couple more times, Val came over, grabbed me by the throat, and got right in my face and said, "If I see you do that one more goddamn time, I'll beat the fuck out of you myself." I almost shit my pants, but I loved it that he did it to me, because he was a legendary figure in my mind. Desert Viking Adventures. I've seen Pantera 5 times. Best story I have is when I was at the Denver Coliseum. During the show, they slowly unveiled these giant diamond-plated letters spelling Pantera. The last 2 songs and letters were shooting giant flames, only to realize Kerry King and Jeff from Slayer walked out on stage and played Cowboys from Hell with them to close out the set. It was insane. I was lucky enough to see them 6 times live. The last time wasn't that good. It was the last show they ever played in North America in Tacoma before they went to Europe and 9/11 happened. The reason why it wasn't good was because Phil was deep into his heroin addiction and had severe back pain. And during a break in the song, he downed a whole bottle of Wild Turkey and started to ramble for about 5 minutes, and then started to stomp around and he fell off stage. The crowd was pissed. and I could tell Dimebag and Vinny were fed up. But they picked Phil back up and took him backstage, and he came out on fire. I'm guessing he snorted a mountain of coke, but the last 30 minutes were amazing. Also, Morbid Angel and Static X and Slayer were on the bill, so it was a great show. James Johnson. When I seen Pantera at Ozfest, they hit the stage playing Great Southern Trendkill, and thousands of people rushed the bleachers to the floor. I got picked up and thrown over the 20-foot wall to the floor. My friend broke his ankle, but I was fine. I left him and ran to the pit. It was a fucking awesome show. I'm in the pit headbanging like hell when this guy shoved into me. I'm kinda tall, so my head came down on his. Split my left eyebrow in half. I staggered back, and the guy double-fisted grabs me by the shirt and steadies me on my feet. People behind me started holding me until I got my wits about myself. Aggression? Yes. Hate? None at all. If you were never in a pit at a Pantera show, total fucking bedlam. Noah Smith. Pantera shows were fucking wild. I saw them in San Jose. Never saw more fire and boobs in the same place. There were 3 mosh pits inside a bigger mosh pit. People lit their hoodies on fire and spun them over their heads. Best show ever. Wargasm, 644. Been in the metal game since the beginning. Yeah, I'm old as fuck. Was hoping Metallica would be the band that carried metal through the 90s. Didn't turn out that way. While Metallica was busy succumbing to the trends and bullshit, a badass group of southern boys rose to the occasion. Pantera were and still are the kings of metal. I've seen them all. From the new wave British heavy metal, the birth of thrash, death, and black metal, to new metal and metalcore to contemporary metal. I've been to hundreds of shows, from baby metal to infant annihilator, and from the classics to the modern. Nobody can touch Pantera live. Such an epic sight to behold, like a 50-ton nail spike wrecking ball hitting you in the face. So much energy. It was literally an amphetamine in itself. Mind-blowing. It's a shame the way it all ended. But it was like trying to contain antimatter. Just too much energy. I'm just glad I got to experience it live. And I'm even more grateful that I got to meet them backstage. Thanks for the music. Rest in peace, Vinny and Dimebag. Forever. Stronger than all. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to pay some bills. Guys, make sure you stay tuned for more Pantera stories. Alright, and we are back to continue sharing some Pantera stories. Guys, let us know how we're doing down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Alright, let's go. Colin Furnace, 77. Rest in peace, Abbott Brothers. Dimebag and Vinny. Seen them live about 5 times from 92 to 01. My only story that I got is I got sucker punched by a giant wife beater shirt wearing skinhead at one of the shows. Had to go to work my sales job the next day with a black eye. Good times. As for my boss, when I returned to work he wasn't there that day. Thank God. I was a drone department salesman and they knew I was in the metal. I told my manager and coworkers everything and they were sympathetic. It was hella fun explaining to every customer that came through what had actually happened. I don't think I sold much that day though. I saw them twice in Fresno. The last time I went, it was me and a bunch of my friends, including my girlfriend at the time. A friend of mine named Scott, who was a little bit crazy, climbed the speakers near Daryl and dove off into the pit. The guys on stage were tripping out because it was a 25-foot drop. He got up on stage a second time and they recognized him. Phil gave him a high five and Daryl gave him a nod. They practically helped him back up onto the speakers to jump off again. Phil called out to him after he landed and gave him a thumbs up. It was freaking crazy. I'm surprised that he didn't get hurt. It was a long drop. Everybody was coming up to us after the show and saying how crazy that was for him to jump that far. It was a sight to see for sure. Sinister One. Saw them in 92 when they were touring with the Vulgar Display of Power. Only time I didn't, or rather, I wouldn't go near a pit. I remember being scared shitless, seeing people ripping out their seats that were bolted down and going nuts. I'm 43 now and I can't remember what I ate for breakfast today, but I remember every fucking moment of that night clearly. Good times, Pantera for life. I saw Pantera at a small club in Nashville when they were just breaking. There was a kid in the bathroom sitting on the floor with a hole in the bridge of his nose, blowing blood bubbles out of it. Now that's metal. I saw Pantera open for Skid Row in Dothan, Alabama. This was before the Vulgar Display was released. I got to hang out with Diamond Darrell after the show. This is before he became Dimebag. He ended up giving me a string off his guitar and signing my ticket stub. I've been to a lot of concerts and shows, and he's the coolest dude I've ever met from the big name bands. Jay Steele. I seen Pantera live in '96. The pit was wild. I was mixing it up. I climbed on the side of the stage and jumped. I sprung my ankle and I busted my forehead wide open. I was only 15 at the time, and my mom picked me up, and she flipped when she seen me. My face and shirt was covered in blood, but I wouldn't change a goddamn thing. It's a fucking amazing show. Alright guys, and that's where we'll end our Pantera stories for today. If you like our content, make sure you head over to our Patreon page and become a patron to support the channel. But make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and let us know down in the comment section how we're doing. We'd love to hear your feedback. Anyway, make sure you stay tuned for next week where we'll be continuing our Pantera stories. Have a great weekend.